Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been in a great state in the past few months. It's been a fairly balanced format with so many decks being able to compete. But just because this format has been amazing doesn't mean that there aren't kinks and flaws that still could be ironed out. In this particular video, we are going to be going over the perfect Forbidden List. This Forbidden List aims to make as many decks as competitive as possible while still keeping things fair and balanced. Just to give you guys the heads up, this is not a prediction list. This list is specifically built to tailor to the current format. It's going to balance the format even more by making some of the less popular decks even stronger, while also addressing some of the overpowered aspects of the current card game. If you guys want to see me actually make a prediction list, go ahead and give this video a like, and also post down below in the comment section what do you think your prediction list is, or what cards did I miss that should be on or off the list to help balance the format. With all that out of the way, let's get right on into it. One thing I think most players can agree about this format is that it's fairly fun to play. While there are some decks that pop up with some insane combos with all of these negates, they're a lot more palatable than formats before, especially with cards like Super Polymerization and Mystic Mine in the current game, as well as cards like Kaiju's Winged Dragon or Raw Sphere Mode. Decks are becoming a lot more playable even after making those break my board type of boards. But there are some cards that do need to be addressed that just don't allow you to play Yu-Gi-Oh! At all. One of them I feel is Artifact Scythe. Now, Artifact Scythe is actually going to be on my prediction list as well because the card has become overpowered. Back when it was just Artifact Sanctum and Artifact Scythe, the card was completely fine. Not only is it a brick card in your hand, you also need to play Artifact Sanctums, which can only be searched through Trap Trick, which means you need to play at least more than one copy of Sanctum, which also is another brick if you happen to draw your Scythe. And on top of that, you have to go first. That is perfectly fine. But with Duel Overload, again, this becomes a huge problem because of Artifact Dagda. Artifact Dagda allows you to set your Scythe to your side of the field, and players would like, why would I want to do that? But when you take into the fact that you only need to get 2 monsters to your side of the field to make Dagda, and then you can follow up with a monster like Tornado Dragon, man, you get an easy access to Artifact Scythe, which is way more accessible than ever before. It literally takes all of the hard work and dedication to the Artifact Scythe / Sanctum package and puts it on top of his head. It almost feels like any deck that has access to Needle Fiber, which can get you TCG Wonder Magician to destroy your own Artifact Scythe, and both of them happen to be level 5 monsters, don't want to tell you what you can go with that, or just Tornado Dragon, can essentially lock your opponent out of special summoning from the extra deck. I am a big fan of having balance between decks that can special from the extra deck, prevent cards from the extra deck, and don't use the extra deck, but I am not a fan of having instant access to a card that completely prevents your opponent from special summoning from the extra deck, which is why I feel Artifact Scythe does need to go. Following up on you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, another card that seriously needs to be addressed is the Rank Up Magic Phantom launch, or the Phantom Knights Rank Up Magic launch. God, I can't say cards' names today. This card should have never came off the Forbidden List, because while we did get rid of Outer Entity Azathoth, we still have an Outer Entity Azathoth in King Kali Yuga. Not only that, this card can actually destroy all of your opponent's spell and trap cards, so it's a heavy storm on top of it. Don't know why that was allowed to be in existence. Granted, there are some huge differences between the two cards, but essentially does the exact same thing. And granted, the combo is a little bit harder to get into, but definitely is a win condition on its own. I strongly feel like the Phantom Knights Rank Up Magic launch should have never came into the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game because it makes some of those harder cards to get into, like DDD King Kali Yuga and True King of All Calamities, which themselves, if a little more accessible, should be on the Forbidden List as well, more accessible. So why not just hit the card that makes these cards more accessible in the first place? Moving forward, the next card is another what are you doing? Why isn't this card on the Forbidden List? It literally is the enabler of FTKs. Now, if you guys don't know what an FTK is, it's a first turn kill. It is designed on winning without interaction with your opponent. That's something we should look to get rid of no matter how inconsistent it is, especially saying that one card is the catalyst to the strategy, and with that card being hit, other cards can come off the list. It's like a no-brainer. Lapis Lazuli is the catalyst for the Gem Knight FTK, which again has not been as successful inside of this format and can be seen as a little inconsistent, but a lot of times this strategy is allowed to pop off and it's unhealthy for the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. Hitting this card actually allows you to bring out other Gem Knight cards to allow the deck to play. We'll talk about that a little later. Now that we are done talking about bans, we can move on to the limits, and I know you guys would be a lot happier to talk about these cards. Performable Monkey Board. This card was amazing back in the day, but Pendulum's just received two massive nerfs. The first one with the induction of Master Rule 4, and then the next one with the induction of Master Rule 2020, them not being able to revert back to pre-Master Rule 4 rules. Performable Monkey Board was an amazing card for Pendulum strategies, but with this huge nerf, the deck really struggles to find its footing. I think that Performable decks would be really good under the current format, and players that think that Pepe would be the ultimate break my board, no, not even close. The fact that Pendulums actually have to branch off into their own specific archetypes now to be even somewhat decent. I mean, you can play your Magispectors inside of your Pendulum Magician and Damien deck, but we've already seen that the most topping builds have been just pretty much in Damien decks. Performable Monkey Board does give a huge boost to Performable strategy, and I'm not sure if it needs to go to 2 or 3, but I think 1 is a good start. Moving forward, Astrograph Sorcerer to 1 is another card we are going to address. Pendulums are getting a huge, massive buff within this list, and the reason why Astrograph Sorcerer was banned in the first place was because of Heavy Metal Foe's Electromite. Please enlighten me where Electromite is on the forbidden list again. I think Astrograph Sorcerer actually has found its footing inside of Master Rule 2020. I mean, if you look at it, Pendulum decks don't really even Pendulum summon anymore, which is like their prime mechanic. And the reason being is because of resources. Astrograph Sorcerer not only puts a monster to your side of the field, rewarding you for playing the Pendulum mechanic, it also searches you Pendulum cards to be able to get to your Pendulum scales. I'm keeping this at 1 because this still might be a really bad idea, but if it does wind up being a great idea for Pendulum-based decks, then there you have it. Another card for them to be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And a potential more Pendulum decks or more variety of Pendulum decks being more competitive. Or it can just do exactly what I thought it would do, which would just help Endymion. Which, again, I don't think Endymion's a bad deck or anything. I just would love to see, like, I don't know, there's Dynamist, there's Magispector, there's Pendulum Magician. Like, there's so many great Pendulum decks, but everybody sticks them in one bowl, and I'm rambling. Double Iris Magician is another card to come off the forbidden list. Pendulum players rejoice. I know you guys are loving me, but my boy Meshach is actually the Pendulum player. He's gonna love this list even more. Double Iris Magician was banned for the exact same reason as Astrograph Sorcerer. Electromite. Where is Electromite, ladies and gentlemen? It is at 0 on your forbidden list. This is a huge boost for Pendulum Magician and possibly nothing else because, like, the decks, we're not gonna ramble. We're not gonna ramble. A card that I think could be limited off the forbidden list is a card of controversy, just a little bit of controversy. Nightmare Goblin. Now, Nightmare Goblin was once used for some really insane plays. Linking it with your Firewall Dragon meant that you get an additional normal summon, and then you can turn it into a Nightmare Mermaid, which would give you an Ibly and just a whole bunch of crazy things. But we have to address that Nightmare Mermaid is on the forbidden list, and Nightmare Goblin is actually a good card, not a great card. It rewards you for the link mechanic, giving you an additional normal summon. It does need to be out of the extra monster zone to be summoned, meaning you need to play a dedication of links. And now since we're moving towards Master Rule 2020, it can be an incentive to still put link monsters inside of your extra deck. There isn't any insane board that Nightmare Goblin connects to that hasn't already been addressed by the forbidden list. It's a pretty good card. That's it. Moving on to semi-limited, Sky Striker players are going to love me. No, it's not Mobilize Engage, but it might just be the next best thing. Sky Striker multi-roll will go from limited to semi-limited. Imagine it being unlimited and then I semi-limited and said it was a good thing. That'd be like a dick move. Sky Striker's biggest problem was the fact that the Sky Striker cards would be played inside of other strategies to give the other decks more utility. This can't happen with Sky Striker multi-roll because you need to play a Sky Striker deck to be able to take advantage. this card can actually come to 3, and I don't think anybody would blink an eye. It makes Sky Strikers a lot better, but it doesn't put them over the roof. That's pretty much all there is to say about it. Last on semi-limited, this card actually came off the list inside of the OCG. I think it's fair to put it at semi-limited. Necros and Unicorn, huge boost for the Necros strategy. Doesn't really do anything outside of Necros except make them more of a viable strategy. Dynamite, the True Draco Fighter, can come to 3, mainly because Dragonic Diagram is at 1. I really thought about True King's Return coming to 3 as well, bringing off all of the True Draco cards and limiting Dragonic Diagram because the strategy is severely inhibited by Diagram itself, not necessarily dead, but maybe just needing that boost to be in the competitive metagame again. Ritual Beast Ulti is a prime example of doing nothing to no one. It got on the forbidden list when it wasn't meta relevant. Like, it was kind of crazy how Ritual Beasts had no meta impact but still found themselves on the forbidden list for about 6 years. Granted, the strategy is pretty strong, but it's like they never had the opportunity to show their strength. Ulti can still come to 3, and I still think it'll be a lot better of a strategy, but not dominant. The deck can definitely thrive. Next is going to be Seer. Now brink of the Burning Abyss off the list. Burning Abyss definitely need the boost, and what's crazy is Seer doesn't necessarily contribute to any other strategy except for Burning Abyss. One can argue it's a part of a Dragon Link Chaos deck, but with the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon errata, we won't be seeing that strategy for long. Same thing can be said with Graph Malbrink of the Burning Abyss. This card can spell so many Burning Abyss monsters to your side of the field. Really good for the strategy. These cards can come off to 3. It's already been proven that the strategy is strong, but not dominant. These cards will be really good for the format. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon can come to 3 with the OCG errata. Look, let's face it, it's not about if we'll get the errata, it's about when we'll get the errata. And when the errata does happen to Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, it becomes non-loopable, non-resummonable, it becomes a fairly balanced card as it should have been, so it can definitely come to 3. Same thing with Makura of Destruction, the trash card. That card can literally come to 3 as well. It doesn't have any meta implications. Being able to activate a trap card from your hand, that's great and all, but it's a little too late for all that. And the last card is going to be addressing Gem Knight cards. It's Gem Knight Master Diamond, the card that was wrongfully limited on the list to prevent the FTK, when the FTK still is very easy to make. This card is a huge boost for Gem Knight monsters, as now they'll be able to summon multiples of their boss monsters to their side of the field, potentially make some link and rank plays. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Of course, there are some cards that you feel that I have missed. Go ahead and post them down below in the comment section. Also, if you guys want to see a prediction list, a list that is tailored to the trends of what Konami does, then go ahead and give this video a like and share with a friend. Let us know down below in the comment section. I hope you guys are having a great day, like I am.